It was of revelations. It gave me some insights. I didn't have a clue to speak in the seminar. Actually, Chandru wrote me to speak. Chandru asked ma'am that I could speak here. That's why. So I didn't know what to speak. Though I did my master's in psychiatry, social work, I know a little bit of autism, but I don't know much about it. The only autistic kids I have encountered are Chandrakant, Niranjan, Hariram, Achyut, etc. So these all kids are savants. Then I thought I will present something on these all kids are mind readers also. They are not like other savants, like who can sing well, who can paint well. They are specifically they are mind readers. So I thought I will present something on mind reading and the concept of third eye, which I connect it with the ancient Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, with reference to modern science or physics. Okay, excuse me. Can I? Okay, so for any academic presentations to start, there is a format. So I chose the format. That is, I have to define what is third eye. For the next few slides, I'll show a specific thing, an insightful experience, or a mystical experience which happened to me, which has nothing to do with this seminar or this presentation. I just wanted to share it with you. So actually, I had a plan how to go about with this presentation. So like, we will do the definition part. What is third eye? I have to define it. I have to give some reference from some books. That is the academic way of presenting anything. Then what is the biological basis of third eye? And I have to start with the history part of it. Is there any mention of third eye in the scriptures or in the ancient literatures? So I have to rely on the scriptures basically. So that is the second slide. Then I had a plan to define third eye in the with reference to modern science or biology, anatomy and all. And I have to define the biological functions. Kind of, I had a plan. But my whole plan changed and something started leading me for the next few slides. This was the mystical experience I had when I started doing this, when I started preparing this slide. I'll start from the first slide. What is third eye or divine vision? So Richard Cavendish in 1994 in his book, this is a very famous book, that is Man, Myth and Magic. He defines the third eye, also known as the inner eye, is a mystical and esoteric concept referring to a speculative, invisible eye which provides perception beyond ordinary sight. Is it just sight? Is he talking about sight? No, it is not just sight. It can be sights, experiences, sounds, fragrances. This all can be perceived or received. This was the first slide. Then I started looking into the scriptures. The only scripture I knew in prior which talks about third eye is Bhagavad Gita. In Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, that is the chapter 11, verse number 8, Bhagavan Krishna, when before showing his Vishwarupa to Arjuna, says, Natumam shakyase drashtum ananneva so chakshusa divyam dadami te chakshu pasyami me yoga mamishwaram. But thou art not able to behold me with these thine own eyes. I give thee the divine eye, behold my lordly yoga. That is what Gita says about third eye. That is the only text which I know which spoke about third eye, which had some reference about third eye. So I started with Gita. Then I started looking other religious texts also and started with Quran in Islam. I started looking the book, the chapter number 50. I have gone through almost all the surahs and ayats of Quran, and I could see in the chapter 53 that the surah name is Surah Al-Najm, which means the star. Ayat 8. It says, and he, here he is meant by God, here he, and he revealed his word when he, Muhammad, was on the uppermost horizon. That was the reference in Quran regarding the third eye. Here starts the twist. I actually, it might be an accident. I just saw, can you just go back, Srinuji? Go back, okay. Can you see that in Bhagavad Gita it is chapter 11 and Vishwarupa Darshana Yogam, that is the 11th chapter, and the verse number is 8. Go forward. In Quran, it is chapter 53, Surah Al-Najm, ayat number 8. It might be an accident, the 8 repeated. So I just thought, oh, why is it repeating? It can be an accident. So I just started looking Bible. I didn't search for third eye or any reference like that. I started looking number 8 only. From the book of Genesis to the last book. I have gone through the Old Testament and New Testament. And in the New Testament, book Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse number 8, when Jesus was encountered with the same question, when the disciples of Jesus inquired about inner vision, Jesus replies, Christian ascetic is here, so she can clarify the things. So, Jesus replies, ask and it shall be given to you, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that seeketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. So in these 3 books, verse number 8 is talking about third eye or inner vision. Then I started. I shouldn't stop my inquiry here. So I just started looking at different religious scriptures, and I could find in Tao Te Ching, that is the Bible of Taoism, where Lao Tzu, the Tao master or the founder of Taoism, I don't know how I can call him a founder or something. He talks about it is better to center on the true essence within. Acts naturally without desire, then everything will be accomplished in its natural order. Verse number 8. The next book, which actually talks about, this is the master book which talks about any kind of esoteric feelings or kind of metaphysical things. That is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So I started looking, verse number 8 in Patanjali's 3 books. 3 books means 3 chapters. It's not 3 chapters, it's 3 parts. Yoga Sutras has 3 parts. So, Samadhi Pada, like Vibhuti Pada, kind of, there are 4 parts I think. Kaivalya Pada is there. Sorry, 4 parts. So in the 3rd part, that is Vibhuti Padam, it speaks, Tatapi Behiranga Nirpijasya, but they are external to the seedless, that is Samadhi. That is Vibhuti Padam, verse number 8. But in Vibhuti Padam, in the same chapter, in the same part, I have gone through a sutra. Sutra means equation, where Patanjali specifically talks about third eye or divine vision, which is Murta Jyotishi Siddha Dharshana. That is, if you concentrate on the center of the brain, on the central point of the brain, you will get the darshana of Siddha. But the verse number was not 8. But you can see that the chapter number is 3 and verse number is 32. 3 plus 3 is 6 and 6 plus 2 is 8. Again it is repeating. So the verse number 8 and the number 8 repeats in everything. So I started looking what is the esoteric importance of, I googled, that's what we do. I googled what is the esoteric importance of number 8. Amazingly, I saw a book and it is titled as Seeking the Third Eye. The book is titled as Seeking the Third Eye. So you can see that Gita, Quran, Bible, Tao Te Ching, Yoga Sutras and even Dhammapadas, I didn't put the reference here, even Dhammapadas talking about third eye, and it is, you can see it in the verse number 8. Talking about divine vision, all of them are in different chapters, but verse number 8. Why 8? What is the importance of 8? We can see directions are 8, paths are 8, Lakshmis are 8, Siddhis are 8, Ganapatis are 8, and the importance of Ashtami. 18 Siddhas, Puranas, 18 Puranas, 18 steps in Shabarimalai, 108 Puranas, 108 Upanishads, repeated chants, 8 yogas in Yoga Sutra, that is Ashtanga Yoga, what Patanjali speaks about Yama, Niyama, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Asana. Dhyanam, Dharana, Samadhi. Like these are the 8 yogas. And even Buddha speaks about 8-folded path. And in Bible, 8 represents a new beginning, meaning a new order or creation, and man's true born again event when he is resurrected from the dead into eternal life. So most of the religious text speaks about the importance of 8, and it is directly connected to the experience of third eye, or it is directly connected to the concept of third eyes. That was the mystical experience I had when I started preparing this slide. I just wanted to share this with you. It can be mumbo jumbo, it can be it may not make any sense to you, but I thought I will share it with you. Then we'll start with our presentation. My topic is the concept of third eye. What is the concept of third eye or divine vision? How is it possible? So in last presentation, Dr. C.P. Abubakar was mentioning about pineal gland. There is a gland in our brain which is in the 4th ventricle, and it is immersed in CSF, cerebrospinal fluid. That is the pineal gland. From very ancient time onwards, man started to inquire about his divine vision and all. Man started looking into this particular, the source of divine vision, and he could locate it as the pineal gland. René Descartes, the famous philosopher who introduced the Cartesian dualism, the body-mind dualism in medical sciences and all, which we follow now. I mean, allopathy follows now, not all the medicines, but allopathy follows the Cartesian dualism. The propounder of Cartesian dualism, René Descartes, thought that third eye is the seat of metaphysics. That was his perception about third eye. So this is the biological center of divine vision according to scriptures and according to modern noetic sciences. Okay. So what are the biological functions of pineal gland? Dr. C.P. Abubakar was referring to pineal gland yesterday. So it is the same thing. Of the endocrine organs, the function of the pineal gland was the last discovered, located deep in the center of the brain. The pineal gland was once known as the third eye. The pineal gland produces melatonin, which helps maintain the circadian rhythm and regulate reproductive hormones. Anatomically, this third eye or the pineal gland is located in the 4th ventricle, and which is immersed in cerebrospinal fluid, which is the major neurotransmitter which actually conveys the messages in the brain, which is situated in such a vital point, and it is the most vascular gland after liver. But according to modern science, when you ask a modern medical person if you ask them what is the function of pineal gland, they will say there is no much functions for the pineal gland. It's only secretion of melatonin and DMT, and we don't know much about it. And after they'll tell you one thing: after 16 years, this pineal gland will become calcified. That is the calcification. It's otherwise known as brain sand. It becomes calcified after 16 years. I think you all can remember certain incident. You all had intuitions at your younger ages. Then when you grow up, you'll get you won't get that feelings again. In ancient literatures, they call it as kali conversion. when the kalanka comes inside, that is the brain sand, nothing else. The calcification happens. So we can see that when you ask a modern medical person, he will say that pineal gland is not a much important gland. But if you see its position, its location in the brain, and it is the most protected organ, and also it is most vascular gland after liver. Why is it so protected? Why is it so vascular if it has no other functions other than secreting melatonin? And why is it immersed in the cerebrospinal fluid? That made the point here. So pineal gland is connected to the third eye according to ancient scriptures. We can see that third eye is often termed as pineal eye. Pineal gland is also known as Pinaka Granthi in Sanskrit, and Shiva, the Lord Shiva, who has 3 eyes, third eye, is referred as Pinaki. It's not because he has a bow which is named as Pinakam, it is because he had third eye. And this third eye and this pineal gland is termed as Pinaka Granthi in ancient Sanskrit literature. Now also, I think in Ayurveda and all, Pinaka Granthi is the term used for pineal gland. It's because it is directly connected to the third eye. It's directly connected to Shiva who has opened his third eye. And in this age, these all things can be, I can just give the theories and I can quote from scriptures, I can give different examples of people who open third eye and all, but this is the age of rationality. This is the age of questioning. So we have reached here because we questioned. Like Descartes himself said, I think therefore I am. So this is, the question is there a proof to show the relationship of pineal, third eye with pineal gland? Is it a real thing? Is it pineal gland and third eye a real thing? Pineal gland is, of course, sure there is pineal gland, but is it connected to third eye, or is it a fictitious concept, or it is just an imagination of man who always wanted to unlock the mysteries of the world, so he just thought that if I had a third eye I can see all these things? Is it just an imagination? Then I have to give you the proof. That is this animal from the western part of Australia and New Zealand. This animal is known as tuatara. You can Google it. It's a kind of iguana which has the third eye. It has the third eye, and the amazing thing is that that third eye is not connected to any visual centers in the brain, but it is directly connected to the pineal gland. And this third eye of tuatara, that is the third eye, it is referred as pineal parietal third eye of tuatara, which is directly connected to the third eye of this animal. It's a kind of iguana, and tuatara is not the only being which has third eye. There is a shark which is known as pelagic shark, which moves in the Torres Strait, which separates Papua New Guinea and Australia, and this has also got a third eye. In tuatara's case, it has a lens in the third eye. It is like our proper eye. But in pelagic shark, it is not. You cannot see there. I actually searched for a good image, but I couldn't get. So in pelagic shark, the third eye is not like the normal eye. It's a point where it is photosensitive. It can receive photosignals and all, but it's not like our normal eye. But in tuatara, it is like normal eyes, but it's not that developed, or I don't know, or might be in some evolutionary process it is getting weaker. I don't know what happened. Anyhow, it is not that developed, but it can receive photosignals, and it is directly connected to the third eye. So this is the biological evidence which I can give to state the concept of third eye is true, which is mentioned in the 20,000 years old tradition of yoga. And if you talk about Patanjali, the Patanjali Yoga Sutra itself is 2,500 years old. But the science of yoga, the tradition of yoga existed far beyond Patanjali. Patanjali just codified the system, codified the knowledge into one codified text. So third eye is referred to, third eye is actually connected to pineal gland, which is very well mentioned in Yoga Sutras and all. When we look into Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the sloka I have given is not from Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. It is from Bhagavad Gita, which I actually quoted before. That is, na tumam shakyase drashtum ananyeva cha sakshusha divyam dadami te chakshu pashyami me yoga mameshwaram. I have highlighted a word there, that is yoga mameshwaram. That is the cue, that is the clue here, that is the hint. Vyasa, the editor of Bhagavad Gita, if you believe so, why should Vyasa use the word yoga mameshwaram when he started talking about third eye? He can use Jagadishwara, he can use any other synonyms, 108, 1008 and more than that synonyms are there of Bhagavan. But why he used specifically the term yoga mameshwara? It gives us a clue. Yoga has something to do with third eye. Yoga has something to do with third eye. That's why Vyasa used the word yoga mameshwara. It's a secret key to open the thing. So I actually started looking into Yoga Sutras. Actually, Bhagavad Gita led my way to Yoga Sutras. In chapter number 3, Vibhuti verse number 32, Patanjali says, Murta Jyotishi Siddha Darshanam. When you concentrate on concentration, I'll detail about it. Murta Jyotishi Siddha Darshanam. When you focus on the Jyotis in the center of your Murtha, is in your brain, you will get the Darshana of Siddhas. And how to concentrate? That is the thing. What do you mean by concentration? What Patanjali means by concentration? Then we can see Patanjali for concentration in Yoga Sutra is nothing but Samyamani. Samyamani is the yogic way to knowledge. I am going to detail about what is Samyamani. Samyamani is nothing but Dhyanam, Dharana and Samadhi combined. So what is Dharana? Dharana is fixing the mind on the object of contemplation. Dharana is the preliminary stage of meditation. When we make our mind steadfastly cling to the object of contemplation, we are ready to go to the next higher step, that is meditation, that is dhyana. Remember the example of Arjuna seeing the eye of the bird. He could see only the eye of he could see the target only, nothing else. That is what is known as dharana. For example, if I ask you to meditate on this book, you have to focus on this book, you have to understand what this book is. That is the correct understanding. That is dharana. You should have a dharana about this book. And dhyana is the intense mental concentration. You have to concentrate on this book. That should be very intense, and it is not easy to meditate also, because mind creates obstacles. It is not the Satan or some other external things which creates hurdles to meditation. It is nothing but our mind. That's why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Udhared Atman Atmanam Natmana Vasadayet, which means one's mind can be one's best friend and also one's worst enemy. So there are 9 obstacles which is mentioned by Patanjali in Yoga Sutras, which are all the products of mind. Vikalpa, different 9 things are there, which are all the products of mind. How mind reacts in certain situations, how this becomes obstacles in meditation and all. So dhyana is when if you are asked to meditate on this book, you should have you'll have an understanding about this book, that is dharana, and you'll start concentrating on it. First is knowing about it, then concentrating on it, and next is samadhi. Samadhi is nothing but being it, knowing it, concentrating on it, and being it. That is it. So samadhi is just you and that thing, that you and your object of meditation becomes one. That oneness is known as samadhi. And Patanjali speaks about 2 types of samadhi. One is samprajnata samadhi and other is asamprajnata samadhi. One is conscious meditation. You can consciously be one with this thing, and you can unconsciously be. Like if you meditate on Shiva, or if you concentrate on Shiva, you can consciously be Shiva. Like after a certain point of time, you can consciously think that I am Shiva, Shivoham. And I'll walk like Shiva, I'll think like Shiva, my entire thought process becomes, will be like Shiva. And you can unconsciously become Shiva. That is the true samadhi. You are becoming that unknowingly. So when that happens, that is the true samadhi, what Patanjali says. So samadhi, dhyanam and dharana are the 3 things combined, and it is the samyamani. That is the yogic way to knowledge, and that is the key to open the third eye. It is not only the key to open third eye, it is the key to open many things around us. So samyamani is the key to open the third eye. And if you ask me to translate samyamani to English, I'll tell it is nothing but consolidated consciousness. Consolidated consciousness can only unlock the true potential of third eye. Then about third eye activation. I'm not talking about the methods to how to activate third eye. It will be a different kind of thing if I start talking about how to activate third eye and all. In India, the method was samyamani, nothing else. But in all over the world, in Egypt, in Sumeria, in Mayan civilization, in Babylonia, in China, in Tibet, they used to operate third eye using surgery. They used to do surgical interventions to open third eye. They used to do that. So in India, India never did that. India did the Samyamini only to open the thing. So there are different methods. There are different methods all around the world. I'm not going to talk about everything, but I'm going to give some examples of, not some example. I'm giving only one example of Srinivasa Ramanujam, who activated his third eye. It is said that Ramanujam had an active third eye. I have taken this excerpt from Osho's Hidden Mysteries, which was a speech delivered by Osho Rajneesh at Mumbai in 1971. Hidden Mysteries, the Occult Science of Third Eye, para number 43, where he speaks about the peculiar quality or the power of Ramanuja. Like, whenever he began to look into any mathematical problem, something began to happen in the middle space between his two eyebrows. Both his eyeballs turned upwards, centering on the middle space. In yoga, that space is described as the third eye spot. It is called the third eye because if that third eye becomes activated, it is possible to see events and scenes? Events, scenes and some different world in their entirety. It is like looking out of your house through a small hole in the door, and suddenly when the door opens, you see the whole sky. There is a space between the two eyebrows where there is a small aperture which sometimes opens. As in the case of Ramanujam, his eyes rose to his third eye while solving a problem. Neither Hardy could understand this phenomenon, nor would other Western mathematicians ever understood it in future. That's what Osho speaks about, the activated third eye of Ramanuja. This is all about third eye, which we can see from ancient literatures to the modern. So, for me, I sternly believe that these kids who are savants, who can read our minds, has an already anomaly activated third eye, or that spot is active. I believe that they can read mind because that point is active, and I have did some experiments to prove this thing. I'll show one of them. So how to read mind? My observations with the autistic children like Chandrakant, Hariram and Niranjan. How are they reading mind? In India, a thought can be divided into four. Before, if you have to speak something, you have to think about it. So the first the response to the stimuli, you should have a stimuli, it might be internal or external. That is the response. The first response, as I am talking now and I know what I am going to talk next. Because I know, that is Pashyanti, I know what I am going to talk next. But before that, there is a stage that is called Para, where even I am not aware of what I am going to speak next. That is the initial response of thought. That is the first form of thought, that is the pure form of thought, that is uninterrupted and unmanipulated. So that is Para. And Pashyanti is that what we can understand, what we are going to talk. Madhyama is what we know what you are going to speak. You are about to speak. It reached here. Vaikhari is a sound by which you can understand what I am thinking. So Vaikhari has this communication channel and all, communicator, message, noise, and receiver and the feedback. That kind of communication channel works with Vaikhari only, not with Para, Pashyanti or Madhyama. I believe that these kids can actually access Pashyanti and Madhyama of a person. They can actually understand Pashyanti and Madhyama of a person, what you are going to think. The form of thought. The first form of thought. It might be in a different electric waveforms. They can access that. In some cases, so in certain times, these kids have predicted some things also. So how is it possible? I believe that they are accessing Para, where you are not aware of what you are going to think. So they can understand what you are going to think in the next moment. If I ask you what are you going to think in the next 5 minutes, you cannot answer me. Even we don't have control in what we are going to think. But they know what we are going to think because they know how to access Para. When they can access Para, they can actually predict things. That is what I think they are doing. It's just theory. I don't know. I cannot prove it like using the modern scientific standards. When it comes to physics, I'll actually make it a bit simplify or complex. I don't know. It is energy matter circuit. Everything in the world can be classified as energy and matter, and there is a circuit existing between them, and they know the shortcut. And they know the shortcut how to cross this circuit. I'll explain it. For example, think you are moving in a bicycle and it is night. You need light to move ahead. What will you do? You'll switch on the dynamo. Okay, that is what we do in bicycles and all. So you'll switch on the dynamo, and the dynamo rotates along with the wheels, and electricity is produced and it becomes light energy, isn't it? But in physics, we can actually use a different language. You need light, that is a thought. So it is a thought energy. So you pass your thought energy, you pass your electric impulses from your brain to your legs. There is some other kind of energy which is stored chemical energy, which actually gets converted into kinetic energy. You start pedaling, and this stored kinetic energy becomes again gets converted to kinetic energy. The wheel rotates, and the kinetic energy goes into mechanical energy, into the dynamo. That is mechanical energy. Then the mechanical energy gets converted to electrical energy, and electrical energy gets converted to light energy. So what is that? Your thought energy gets converted to light energy, but through the circuit only. You cannot just shortcut. You cannot just think and make the lights on. You cannot. But if you go by the definition, energy can neither created nor destroyed. It is nothing but the thought energy itself, but it can be changed from one form to another. The thought energy is getting changed from one form to another. If you go by the reverse, can we follow the reverse order? Can we make light energy? Can we convert light energy into other forms of energy? Yes, we can do. That is solar panels. So when light falls on the solar panel, it can be stored as stored chemical energy. Then also it reaches leg only. In leg, it is stored chemical energy. We can actually convert light energy into stored chemical energy. It will reach till a point where we can convert it. But after that, can we convert into thought energy? There it ends. So we can convert light energy to mechanical energy to kinetic energy to stored chemical energy. But before that, what was it? It was thought energy. Can we convert it to that? It's not possible. That is one puzzle before us for the modern mankind. We cannot convert after a point, but they can do that. Other thing is that I